Look, I love being fast and I like making a lot of decisions in a short period of time, but sometimes you might need to put on the brakes. Hi, I'm Kelly, and I talk about making tax topics really simple and running a small business and what that looks like in real life. I unfortunately see a lot of small business owners who take to heart the idea of making decisions fast. And I am totally on board with making decisions fast and moving faster than most people. I do that a lot, okay? And I think that there is a real benefit to moving faster than your competitors or people that are in your industry because you can generally make things happen. You can figure out if they break and fix it and get back into the game very much quicker than other people who are sitting there and overthinking decisions. But I think there's a little bit of a cautious tale to be had here. So there is a lot of benefit in moving fast with speed in making decisions, but there are some things that you should probably investigate if you feel like you're making a lot of changes and whiplashing everybody in your organization very quickly. I do want you to consider whether or not you're doing harm to your business. And I say this because of personal examples. So, unfortunately, I get to work with a lot of small business owners as a part of my daily life. But the pro and con of that is that I do see a lot of small business owners go out of business. And a lot of times when I watch what happens is they kind of did it to themselves. And I say that because they weren't looking at all of the different red lights and caution lights and things that were flashing right in front of them because they were too focused on what they thought was the right path. And I see this a lot with speed. So, and change in general. I just had a business owner. They are really, really struggling. And unfortunately, they have made decisions inside their company and they've changed directions, particularly around their accounting and the way in which they were pursuing income. And then they were having one person do this. And then 3 months later, they were having a different person come in and do something. And then they changed payroll companies because somebody came in with a cheaper rate by like $5 and they upended everybody. And all of a sudden, their employees didn't get paid 1 week because they made a change and they came in and they changed the billing software and then they changed the invoicing software and they overlooked how they got paid and then they ended up paying higher fees and then they made another change. Are you exhausted? That's exactly how I feel. And I was watching it from the outside and I was like, you need to pick a path and stay there when it comes to some of these things because by changing, you're distracting yourself from what should be the most important factor. And the most important factor for almost any small business is making money and pursuing income. And so if you're so hyper focused on all of these little bitty things that are distracting you, you're probably losing focus on the big thing, which is how am I making money in my business? Not trying to save $3 on payroll processing services because some guy came in from a sales person and came in and gave me a better deal for 6 months. Like that is losing focus. And I understand that they were like, well, I was making decisions very fast and I'm just going with it because it seems like the best. But there's a little bit of a nuance to understanding that speed in this case is not a good thing. So if you're running a small business and you sort of feel distracted by all the different things that people throw at you and everybody's trying to sell something, right? I mean, I can't even like get onto LinkedIn. If you accept a friend request now on LinkedIn or whatever, a follow request or whatever it is, like somebody messages me in an inbox. It's like, "Hey, I have this new service for you. Hey, I have this new software for you. Hey, I have this new thing." You don't need most of it, right? And so before you go making every decision for how to like save a few bucks on the process that you're doing, kind of take a step back and remember that the number one thing you're supposed to be doing if you're in small business is making money and focusing on new client acquisition and bringing them in the door. And then the second is how do I retain and make the experience better for those clients and service them in the same continued great manner. Those are kind of your two big points. You can focus at times on doing some cost cutting measures and things like that. And those should be measured and done in a consistent manner, not just because some new sales guy came in and completely distracted you. And then you spent a whole month upending your whole team. I just think there's sometimes a little too much speed that happens on some of those decisions, and not enough speed happens on making decisions that will fundamentally change the trajectory of your business. So, it's just my little personal example of something that I have seen way too often. And again, it just seems to be the same pattern over and over again, is losing focus on what the big important things are. And usually those big important things are, number one, making some money, and number two, servicing and producing the product that you have or service that you have for your client. Those are your big two things. Anything else is important. There's lots of important things, right? We have all the other things that distract us, but those things are usually secondary to the main two big things, which is making more money and keeping those clients and customers happy. I hope that's helpful to you, and that you maybe have something in your business that you're thinking, I am getting distracted. I know I did this as I wrote this and thought, I also have things in my business where I'm being distracted from what's really important. And I need to not move so quickly into kind of accepting every DM or message or something that somebody sends me.